So I was recently messing around in the deep desert when I stumbled upon a loot ship, and this gave me what I would consider the literal best item in Dune Awakening, this being the unique schematic for the Mk6 Cutteray. You may wonder why I consider it the best, but that is because it's going to make it far more efficient, literally the most efficient, to gather resources. Despite this thing stating that it increases titanium and stravidium mass yield, it also increases all the other resource yields. Just compare these values, and you're getting upwards of 25% increase in mining yield. This will make all of those mining trips considerably more efficient, saving you again 20 to 25% of your time, as you don't have to search for that many resource nodes. Be aware you can boost all of those numbers by another 40% by using Cutteray mining and vehicle mining when you max them out. They add up additionally and then directly multiply by all the values you see. We'll confirm each of these later, just in case the game has some sneaky math going on. Post-edit, it sure does. There's something seriously broken with it, both a good and a bad way. I will cover my full tests of the Focused Buggy Cutteray versus the standard Mk6. So let's quickly cover, how can you get your hands on this thing? Well, personally, I did through a loot drop ship in the deep desert. You'll just find these things randomly out there. However, this for me was last week and before maintenance. For some reason, I couldn't find it after they made that update on Wednesday. But all hope is not lost, as what's really good in this game is it has multiplayer aspects, and you can technically just buy items from other players. It's just whether they are selling them and at what price. You will find the player exchange in Aragon or Harco village. Now, to find these unique schematics, they'll be just here. There is the whole long list of them, and we're looking for the Focused Buggy Cutteray Mk6. These are going for a lot right now, as there are only 2 selling. Just keep in mind, this does require some pretty top tier and exclusive materials which you will struggle to find anywhere other than out here in the deep desert. Some of which only come from the PvP area of the deep desert. So you might be at an earlier stage in the game. And there are still the other buggy rays like the Mark 4, 3, and these too will give you significant upgrades from the stock standard researched version. Just be aware you can find on the store, in most cases, the actual materials that you need to craft these things. You should be able to find the Mark 3 unique at this spot in Haga Basin at a drop rate of 44.4%, with the Mark 4 variant up here on like the shield wall with a chance over here too. This is like a 9%. And finally the Mark 5 variant you should find in the deep desert at these locations like a 14.2%. I say should because I personally never went and got them, although I really should have, considering how impactful they are. You may not even have to research and craft this one when you can just go out there and grab this schematic. Now, in order to craft these Mark 3 to 5, you simply make them here in the standard vehicle fabricator. However, the Mk6 and the unique Mk6 needs the advanced vehicle fabricator. She needs a lot of those special resources like plastanium, spice melange, complex machinery. I will create this thing right here, and we can see we can now craft the Focused Buggy Mk6. And again, we can test, is it actually giving us these expected values when mining those resources? If you're not aware, you can mix and match parts between the versions of vehicle parts. For example, this buggy right here is a Mark 3 with a Mark 5 engine, a Mk6 Cutteray, and a Mark 5 boot. You simply need to go and detach whatever you have on the vehicle and then attach the new ones. So yes, we will attach the Focused Buggy. We can drive out here and test. Are we getting those expected value increases? First of all, a piece of granite. We mine it, we get a total of 656, and that is indeed rounded up the value what we expected. This iron ore, we similarly 551, again rounded up from the value we expected. All of these I just kind of cut off the 0.2, assuming it would round down, but it actually gives you a bit more favor and rounds up. Carbon ore here, 669. There's something up with that number. That was not expected. We were getting a considerable boost there. I will double check that. Again, 669. So we are in fact getting a 68% boost on this. I updated the rest of the numbers to round up as done in game, but I want to confirm what happens when we use the basic Mk6. This expected on carbon is 446. So I will simply change that just now. Let's mine some carbon with it. And we get a value of 535. That also does not align with the expected value shown on the tooltip. Therefore, it similarly has a 68% boost. While we're at it, let's compare the values of these fuel packs. So we get 840 with the Mk6. Switching back to the unique Cutteray, finding another pack, and we get a total of 1050. That means 25% extra versus the regular Mk6. And that's most likely the exact same increase you'll see across all the other versions of these unique Cutterays across the different tiers. Now we do have to check Etherite next. I expect this one, in fact, to give less than it says. Even with a Mark V engine, I don't really want to drive there, so we'll fly instead. In my video on how to farm these Etherite crystals, I had so many of you whining at me how to actually get down and out of that rift. Well, there are two entrances at this west end, and then another at the southern end. You can of course get a carrier and just fly down. Surely the easiest method. So Etherite. What can we expect? 335, and that's yes, using the Focused Cutteray, which means you only get 89% of the expected value. They sure want you to spend longer farming this. We'll confirm that with the standard Mk6 Cutteray, see if it has the same multiplier. Well, that's a bad angle, but we get 268, which is a little odd, because you're getting a worse multiplier again at just 84% of the original value, making it significantly worse than the Focused Cutteray. Well, let's get out of here. We have basalt and aluminium to check next. Basalt 341, nothing unusual there at all. Our aluminium 341 as well. So working perfectly as expected. I may as well confirm with the standard Cutteray. 273 on basalt, and we get the same for aluminium. Also perfectly as expected. Now to check for jasmium. With the unique Cutteray, we are getting 446. This indeed is the expected result. As for the standard Cutteray, we are getting a total of 393. For some reason, you're getting one more. And this 392 is not rounding, it's a direct 40% increase. So I'm not sure what's going on there, but I guess we'll take it. Finally, for stravidium and titanium, we gotta go on a bit of an adventure. So here we are, out in H4. Let's assemble the buggy. We can start with titanium, and we get 163. As for stravidium, we get 164. Not sure what's going on there. And so yes, this thing does seem to be working as expected. 116 with a 40% boost is 163. Not sure why we, on the off chance, got one more from stravidium. Potentially just a chance thing. We can check here again. 164. I guess you just get one more for whatever reason. I'll check with the normal Cutteray Mk6, and we get 126. Which is exactly as expected. Checking with titanium, also 126. So I'm not sure why the Focused Cutteray gets one extra on stravidium. But yes, it ultimately does have an increased yield for stravidium and titanium. But it's not really any much difference than the increased yield to all the other resources too. So I'm not sure what's up with that specific description. Why does it even mention it when it boosts everything? And again, just looking at those base values, it's a boost of between 20 to 25%. That's not insignificant and clearly makes this a definite vehicle module you want to be getting. Again, hands down, in my opinion, the best item you can get in the game right now. It'll help you significantly getting more resources, which just means it's so much faster for you to get all the other items that you may desire in the game. Now I better pack up and get out of here. So that's it for the video. My full test with the Focused Buggy Cutteray. It's very likely the ratio of all these resources and these calculations will apply for lower variants of this Cutteray. So still going for like the Mark III Focused Cutteray versus the Mark III would be a good idea if you can get it to drop in your chest. It is still a little bit odd here. Why do they throw carbon and Etherite together? They could just have them listed separately and then displayed the actual values that you can expect to see, because yeah, clearly they are a lot different. You're getting far higher carbon and a lot less Etherite than this value shown. But again, all of this is significantly higher in effect than the standard version. So rather than going for the standard version, consider trying to get this one. Now be aware, the drop tables cycle every week. So just because I got it last week before the update doesn't mean you can get it too. It could come from Ecolabs this week, or it could come from shipwrecks. It's doubtfully going to come from loot ships again, at least not for another few weeks. So overall, I hope this helps, at least to clear some things up. A massive thank you to all my channel members for your extra support. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you guys around.